Hi everyone, today I want to show an interlocking gatefold card. To make this card I am using the Floral Frames stamp set. This stamp set is on the retiring list, I'm sad to say. It's a really beautiful set and I love the dies that go with it, so let me show you them real quick. You can still get this set right now as of, let's see, this is April 16th? April 16th. You can still get this collection, and if you buy them together they're bundled, but after June, or if they sell out before that, you won't be able to get it anymore, so you have to say goodbye to the Floral Frames stamp set and these beautiful dies. So the dies have a couple different nice frames that you can use and a lot of pretty little leaves, and I think they're just really beautiful, and then these flowers that you can cut out. Now this flower and this flower happen to coordinate with these two, so you can lay them right on top of a stamped image if you wanted to, so that's a good bonus. And I'm using quite a few of them. Actually, I think I'm using all of them except for the frame. So on this card I cut out some of these longer leaves in vellum, and I decided you can't hardly see them, so on my next one I'm going to use this silver foil, and then I've cut out just about every shape of leaf on here to make my interlocking gatefold card. So what I mean by interlocking is that the two sides kind of go together. See how the frame is on one side and then the white circle is on the other side, and when you close them they go together like so. Now I made a few different versions of interlocking cards. Let me show you a couple. These two were made with the Bloom by Bloom stamp set, which is also retiring. Now you don't have to make them lock underneath each other. Sometimes that's a little bit of a pain to have to slide underneath there, but you can if you want to. It kind of holds the card closed, but it's not necessary. It'll stay closed if you do a really nice job with your score line. So this is one, and then this one interlocks using the square dies. See how they kind of go inside of each other like that? Same thing with this one. Now, what I learned on my first go-round is that sometimes these frames can get a little flimsy with this in and out motion. So what I decided is to double up. So what you do is just cut out two of them and attach them together to make it a little thicker so it's a little stronger. And I did that on this one. Now on this one I glued one on the inside and one on the outside. I don't know that that's necessary, it's just that I glued the one on, that's when I decided it was flimsy, and so then I glued a second one on, and it was already glued down, so I had to glue it on the inside. But if you wanted to, you can glue them both on the outside, and that's what I'm going to do in the one I'm going to show you right now. So that is the outside. Also, I decided that maybe this was a little plain, so this time I'm going to use some designer series paper that I think is quite lovely from the Floral Romance suite. And this is also retiring, so you might want to grab some of this paper while you can. And let's put it all together. I've done the stamping ahead of time on the flowers and colored them out with my blends, because this video I really just want to focus on putting the card together, and I have videos on blend coloring as well if you need to check that out. So let's go ahead and put this card together. Now I'm starting with a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, which I've then cut at 4 1/4. Now to fit a standard envelope, you want the card to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. So then you have to figure out your scores here. Now for this card, for 5.5, you want 2 3/4. So you score at 2 3/4 from either side, and that way when you fold them together, you're going to meet in the center right there. And that way your card is going to fit a standard envelope. Now I decided to decorate with some designer series paper, and this I've cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I can't remember where I cut it in half. Not that it matters. It's like a puzzle. How did I cut it? There. I cut it in half. So it was 4 by 5 1/4, and I cut it in half. Now when you cut 5 1/4 in half, so half of 5 is 2 1/2, and then you're going to add another 1/8 of an inch, so you get this cut directly in half. And I attached them so that the frame is around the edges, and they actually meet in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those real quick and get those pieces out of my way. Okay, now like I said, I cut 2 of this piece. Now you'll notice that the center is solid here and I want it to be open. So I glued these 2 together. Now normally when you cut out a die, you want to do 1 layer of cardstock at a time, and I totally recommend that. Because of the intricacy of this die too, it'll be really hard to cut through both. Now I have found that when I use a solid shape like a circle, you can in fact do 2 at a time. The reason why I wanted to do that is because I want to make sure that I line them up exactly the same. So I'm going to glue these 2 together, and then I'm going to run it through my die cut machine at the same time, which again, you don't normally do, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to go back and forth maybe twice and make sure I get a cut all the way through. It's just easier to line up the frame when it's already attached, and you make sure that that center cut circle is right on where you want it to be. I like using the liquid glue on this because you can kind of move it a little bit for a few seconds anyway. This glue dries really fast. It's the Tombow multi-purpose. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it out with my circle. And this is just from the Layering Circles dies. I love my layering circles. I'll be right back. Okay, I went back and forth just a couple of times to make sure that I went through both layers of cardstock, and I did. So now I have an extra thick frame, which is perfect for this card. Now also, out of my layering circles, I wanted to cut a Whisper White piece, and I'm going to stamp my greeting on that one. I'm using a retired color called Tranquil Tide. It's a really pretty shade. Okay, so now to put this together, you're going to make sure that this half stays over here but doesn't get attached here, and the Whisper White piece gets attached on the right but doesn't get attached onto the left. So to do that, again, I'm getting my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to do the frame first. Let a block sit on it for just a second. Now I'm going to add only to the right side. Just want to hold them together just to line them up, but then go ahead and take them apart while you let them dry. And we might as well attach our middle. Now the middle piece is just 4 by 5 1/4. And as you can see, I've already stamped little flowers on the inside. I like to add a little something to my inside. Okay, so now we're going to attach all these cute little extra pieces. Now to put these down, I'm going to use the liquid glue again. Now I want to make sure that my flower doesn't cover too much, because you want it to barely have to go through there. I used some dimensionals to attach it, making sure that none of the dimensionals get onto that piece of Whisper White. So I'm kind of biasing them on the outsides far away from there. Just barely hangs over. Okay, and then on the other side I did the little double flower. I hope that you're not hearing too much rattling. It's really windy outside and my window panes are rattling a little bit. Okay, now we're just going to add some of these little leaves. Now, the stems on these are kind of long, and I've already glued this down. It just works better for me that way. So what I've done is I just clipped some of these little stems off. You're not going to see them anyway. Now on this side, I kind of lifted my circle a little bit to tuck the leaves underneath so that you get a nice clean look when it's open. This one I made shorter. The soft green that I'm using here is called Soft Seafoam. It's kind of a new color from last year. Very pretty. And you can add as many or as few as you want. I'm going to leave it open while they dry, and I'm going to cut out one of the extra little flowers from this grouping and pop it up a little bit for a little more dimension. So my interlocking gatefold card is my card challenge this week at Beth's Paper Cuts. And if you're not familiar, I have a group on Facebook called Beth's Paper Cuts Idea Sharing Group. It's newer, so I've only been doing it for a little while. And what I'm trying to do is allow customers and other demonstrators to get together and share ideas or just ask for help on ideas. And you can get to that by logging onto Facebook and just putting in Beth's Paper Cuts Idea Sharing Group and request to join. I hope that you will. I have a sketch challenge up weekly, and I'm just trying to find a place where we can get together and stamp. There's a really fun demonstrator group on Facebook, and everybody shares card ideas, but only demonstrators can go, not customers. So what I'm hoping to do is kind of recreate that idea, but have customers get together and share. Right now I'm pretty much the only one sharing, but I hope that you join me and start to share and even ask for ideas. What kind of tutorials are you looking for? And other people can chime in and say what they've done. So I'm using some Wink Stella just to add a little bit of shimmer to the centers of my flowers. There we go. So here's my interlocking gatefold card. Please think about joining me at Beth's Paper Cuts. I have a challenge every Sunday. This Sunday is Easter, but there'll be a challenge up. I've already scheduled it and have it posted to go. And what happens is if you participate in the challenge every week of the month, and you have until the 10th of the following month, so you don't have to do them every week. You can even do them all on the same day at the end of the month if you want to. Participate in each of the challenges, and I'm going to put your name in a drawing. Your chances are really, really good because so far no one has participated in every week of the drawing because it's a brand new thing. So your chances of winning are really good, and I am giving away a celebration item that I have left over. I have a lot of things you can choose from the wooden butterfly elements to stamp sets. So I have a lot left over from celebration. As a demonstrator, you kind of end up with a lot of leftover duplicate pieces. So I've got, you know, the froggy set and the lily set and embossing folders and all that kind of good stuff. So you can kind of have your pick and with whatever's left over. I'm also doing if you spend $50 with me this month, you can choose one of my free celebration sets. So think about that, and that's at my blog, bethspapercuts.com. If you place an order with me, I'm letting you choose one of my leftover celebration sets while supplies left. I have quite a few, and it's we have quite a few days left in the month, but I bet that there'll still be something left, and you can call me first and ask me what my selection is if you want, or send me an email. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll come back again. I hope you'll make an interlocking gatefold card and share it with me on my Facebook idea sharing group. Bye.